You've also infuriated the right by calling for a truce on social issues. Here's what you said at CPAC.
Big change requires big majorities. We will need people who never tune in to Rush or Glenn or Laura or Sean.
But some conservatives say that abortion and traditional marriage shouldn't be negotiable. And our next guest, Mike Huckabee, says, and he's a fan of yours, says he's disappointed that you would suggest that pro-family activists would just lie down.
Well, that isn't what I suggested. A truce, first of all, is only a truce if both sides agree to stop fighting for a little while. I don't want to have an argument with anybody about this. It was a suggestion really tactically. It starts with the premise that our nation is at mortal risk. I'd love to learn that I'm wrong about this, that the debt is not threatening not just our economy, but our entire way of life, our role in the world, maybe even our national security. Now, if you share that fear, then all I'm saying is we're going to have to unify a lot of America. We're going to have to get a lot of people together to make these changes. You asked me, tackling these problems that we're talking about is supposed to be politically undoable. Well, if we're going to do the undoable, we're going to need to gather ourselves together as a nation. And that will, by definition, mean that there'll have to be some folks in that coalition who do disagree about other things.
Yeah. We've got about a minute left. Where are you on running for president?
Well, I sure haven't decided to do it. Haven't decided not to. I'm keeping the option open, and as I've been urged to. But, you know, Chris, I never expected to run for any office. All I set out to do was to try my best for 4 years, maybe 8, to make a better state, more prosperous state in the place I live. And, you know, any thought I ever had about national issues was maybe we could set some good examples and create some successes others could look at, and maybe here and there offer a constructive thought. And that's still where I am.
And when do you have to make a decision? Have you set a timeline for yourself?
No, others keep suggesting there are these deadlines, and then they keep passing. I think it's one of the great breaks we've had as voters that this thing didn't start.
But some have said when the legislature goes out of session, of course it may never be in session, in April.
I'll just tell you this. I'm giving my full attention to the duty, the job I hired on for. And I hope that our Democrats will get out of the hot tub, we'll go back to work, we'll finish at the end of April. But if they don't, I'll still be there, and so will they eventually, because that's my duty. If it means that deadlines pass, it does.
Finally, Governor, some people have suggested that you don't look presidential. Barack Obama's 6'1", you're 5'7", he's charismatic, and forgive me, but some people suggest perhaps you're not. Does that matter?
Well, probably. You know, some voters, I've never in the limited elective time I've had, I've never suggested to a voter what they should consider a valid criterion. So, you know, sure, if it comes down to height and hair, I probably wouldn't do very well, but I guess that's just something you weigh in the balance with many other factors.
Governor Downs, we want to thank you so much for coming in. I hope you feel better.
I
need you back for spring training.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's always good to see you, and we'll be waiting to see what happens in Indiana and what happens on the presidential campaign trail.